I'd like to welcome everybody to the September meeting of the Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation Commission. At this time, we'll call the meeting to order. As always, we'll start with the prayer and pledge, and Dr. Bonner has agreed to lead us with that.
Yes.
Gloria, thank you.
Thank you. May we pray. O Lord, our Lord, how excellent is thy name in all the earth. Father, we thank you for this day and all your bountiful blessings. Please continue to bless the leadership throughout this great community. Protect, guard, and guide them in every decision that they make, every thought that they have, and every action that they do. Father, we ask your continued blessings in our lives. In your Son, Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen.
May we stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Gloria. Everybody should have received their packet earlier in the week. Contained in the packet was the minutes from our August 6th meeting. This time we'll entertain any changes that may need to be made to the minutes, and if there are none, motion for acceptance.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Mitzi, thanks for your work on that. We'll move now to new business. First item under new business is the consideration of the overnight usage of Oaklands Park. Hey.
Hey, good afternoon. We're seeking approval for overnight usage of Oaklands Park on October 18th, going into the 19th, 2014. This is a program that Oaklands Mansion has done for years. They have a Civil War era military demonstration. This year it's going to be the 9th Kentucky Volunteer Infantry. Like I said, they've done this for many years now. We've always had good turnout from people who are visiting the park. They use the front lawn in front of Oaklands Mansion. What they do is they do demonstrations in camping, cooking, cleaning, and then military drills. Like I said, it's a partnered event. We have a lot of people that ended up going out to there to watch the really unique opportunity to see how camps would function. What we're requesting is that they have the ability to camp overnight that night, just one night, October 18th. So they can get back to it on Sunday, the 19th, where they will continue their drills and demonstrations. So we've done this before, haven't had any issues, so we're just seeking that approval for overnight usage.
Any questions of Nate?
Nate, I'm just curious, is this the same group or is this a new group?
This is the same group.
Same
Yes,
group.
sir.
Okay.
Any other questions? Darnay, we need a motion for approval.
I move approval, please.
Thanks, Gloria.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Nate, thanks.
All right, thank you.
Melinda is here today. She's going to talk to us about the consideration of a Greenway photography contest. Melinda, thanks.
Hello.
Welcome.
I'm here seeking approval to conduct a Greenway photography contest. We've got a lot of people that enjoy the Greenway with their cameras, and we've got a lot of different wildlife and activities that go on the Greenway. Ulterior motive, I'm looking for a photograph that would be great for our Greenway map when we get it reprinted next year. We were thinking about having two different categories. One category would show the Greenway usage and activities. The other category would show wildlife, nature, scenery, and landscapes. There would be a first, second, and third place winner in each category, and Friends of the Greenway has agreed to donate the prize money for the contest with a total of $400. The grand prize winner would receive $100 plus the opportunity to have their photograph on the Greenway map, and we would also retain the rights to use all of the photographs submitted for the contest to use in our marketing efforts, whether it's on Facebook or photographs in the kiosk. And I believe there's no charge to enter the contest, and I think this is a good way to get people involved and taking a closer look at what's on the Greenway.
Okay. Thanks, Melinda.
Okay, thank
Anybody
you.
have any questions regarding this request? Madam?
Is it going to be by age category or how?
No, we decided to keep it as simple as we can, and it's open to amateurs, photographers, and so many people have cameras now with their camera phones, and there's some youngsters that can take some pretty good pictures, just as good as the adults. So we just decided to keep it simple, keep it the two categories, and go with it that way. Now, we will have some honorable mentions, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of, if they're kids, or we'll have a lot of honorable mentions that we'll post up in the kiosks.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Who's judging the contest?
We were going to ask perhaps a photography instructor and some professional photographers in town. Yeah, I can look at a picture and know what I like, but I think professionals would be better at judging. And we do have a system where it would be judged on creativity. There's several different categories, and they would get points for each category. And, for example, this photograph may end up with 48 points based on 3 different criteria.
Any other questions? If none, we need a motion for approval.
I move to approve.
Thanks, Tim. In a second.
Second.
Thanks. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks,
Thank you.
Melinda. Rachel Singer's here. She's going to go over items 3 and 4. These are both considerations for the Not So Haunted Trail Fee and the Raptor Day. Rachel, welcome.
Hi, good afternoon. My first item is the Not So Haunted Trail fee, and I don't know if any of you have had the experience of being on our Not So Haunted Trail. It's done with it's part of the Barfield Bash, and it's done in conjunction with the Carnival, and then the Old Scream Road Hayride, which is the scarier hayride. So ours is the friendly hayride. That goes through the trails of Barfield. In the last couple of years, we have taken a children's book, a new book each year, and acted that out along the trail. And we've bought books and distributed them through preschools in the area and city schools in the hopes that the children have read the story or have it read to them before they come. And then when they get there, it's the joy of bringing it to life for them. So our target audience has always been toddlers and preschoolers, but it's really fun for the whole family. All school age groups, all the way up to the adults, really enjoy this. However, it is really staff intensive. It takes all the staff at the Wilderness Station plus several volunteers to make it happen those 2 nights, to bring all those scenes to life. And then also there's a lot of prep that goes into it the weeks prior to it. Also, we're always looking to improve lighting. the props, the costumes every year. What I'm seeking is approval to raise the ticket price by $1 to offset some of our costs. So in the past it's been $3, and I'm looking to increase it to $4 this year. I'd be glad to take any questions you may have.
Anybody have any questions for Rachel about this program? Darlene, we need a motion for approval for this fee change.
I'll make the motion.
Thanks, Eddie. Is there a second?
I second.
Thanks, Ricky. Any other discussion? We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Raptor Day is next.
The next one is Raptor Day, and it's a new program that I'd like to propose to happen this winter, again at the Wilderness Station. And this would just be a really fun day for people of all ages in our community to come out and to learn about the birds of prey that are native to Murfreesboro in Middle Tennessee. Jen Froschauer is a experienced falconer that lives in our community and an environmental educator. She has several birds that she uses for education, such as red-tailed hawk and a barred owl and a screech owl, and she is working on obtaining a vulture, so she would have lots of different examples. But she's agreed to come out and be part of the day with us. So we would have these live birds, we would have talks going on throughout the day, lots of activities and demonstrations for people of all ages to enjoy and to get them out on a wintry day. So the proposed date is February 21st. It'll be at the Wilderness Station from 11 until 2. There would be no cost to this, so just looking for people to come out and have a good time.
All right. Any questions? If there are no questions, we need a motion for approval of this program.
I move approval.
Thanks, Gloria. And a second.
Second.
Alan, thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks,
you.
Rachel.
Thanks.
Ralph, you're up.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm doing good. In an effort to teach our participants in Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation Youth Development Program the benefits of generosity and advance the program goals of our Building Productive Citizens, we are seeking approval for a youth development holiday canned food drive. As part of the program, beginning October the 1st, 2014, 6 containers will be strategically placed in Murfreesboro Parks and Rec facilities, requesting donations of non-perishable food items. Before Thanksgiving, youth development program participants will prepare care packages and coordinate with partners agencies to determine distribution for families with need of this food. So we're asking permission to do this.
All right. Anybody have any questions of Ralph regarding this program?
Which facilities?
Patterson Park Community Center and Cannonsburg, and we're going to probably place some in some of our agency churches that's partners with us. Yeah.
Any other questions? If there are none, we need a motion for approval.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thanks. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Program approved.
Thank
Ralph, thanks for being with us today.
Yes, sir.
Pam Williams is up next. She's going to tell us about the One Act Fest and Homeschool Creativity class.
Hello. Okay, so the first one that I would like to seek approval for is One Act Fest, and it is a twofold program. The beginning is a 5-week writing course to supplement our existing Sunshine Players program. So our Sunshine Players may, ages 12 and up, may enter to take the class, and they will learn to write their own plays, and they will write 10-minute plays, and they will workshop them and critique them together. And then at the end of the 5-week class, we will choose the 5 best plays, and then the people that wrote those plays will direct what they've written using the other children that were in the class. And then the second part of this is that there will be a showcase of the 5 plays, and we will be modeling the showcase after kind of an independent film festival. So They will come out, give an introduction, they will show their play with the student actors, and there will be other activities going on in the lobby. Our goal for this is to grow our older students. They say that the best way to learn something is to teach it, and so we want to give our older Sunshine players an opportunity to do that.
Okay, are there any questions regarding this program?
Are you expecting a couple of Shirleys to participate?
I sure am. I really am.
We had a conversation last night that when I was reading through the packet that, all right, kids, here's your chance. So
Yes.
Jordan and Clara and Tristan as well are all looking forward to it.
If there aren't any questions, any motion for approval?
I move to approve.
Thanks, Stephen. Second?
Second.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. My next program that I'm seeking approval for is homeschool creativity class. A goal I have for cultural arts is to widen our audience, and two ways that I want to do that are in this program. So I want to reach out to the homeschool community, and I also want to widen where our programs are taking place. So we want to have this at McFadden Community Center, where we currently, Cultural Arts is currently not doing any programs out there, and we want to change that. So we want to supplement homeschoolers by giving them their own art class, and what they will learn is in each class we will have a what, a how, and a who. So they will learn what it is. So say 1 week we're working on watercolors. They will learn what watercolors are, what they're made out of. They will learn who works with watercolors, so we'll learn about a few famous artists that do watercolor paintings, and then we'll learn how. And so we'll actually get to practice and do a piece together, and we will all do that. So we want to start this in December, and we want it to follow through the school year as a supplement to their curriculum.
Okay, great. Any questions for Pam regarding this program?
The age bracket, 8 to 11, why that targeted, younger or older? What, I guess, the thought process on that 4-year window?
Okay, so we chose 8 to 11-year-olds to start with because we see that in other homeschool programs that are happening with Parks and Recreation, that age is the age that tends to go the most. That is the age where they're not already involved with other things, I guess. So we want to start there, and if we can get more, we want to eventually do more homeschool programs for different ages. But we thought we'd start there because we thought that they would come the most.
Good question. Any others? We need a motion for approval.
I move approval.
Thanks.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Pam, thanks for being with us today. Thomas Laird is going to go over 3 athletic use agreements we have in the packets. Thomas?
Good afternoon, members of the Commission. Before you are 3 use agreements for soccer tournaments to be held out at Siegel Park. We currently have hosted these events over the years. The Tennessee Cup is one of them that we completed our 3rd season of that this weekend. And then there's the Tennessee State Soccer Association State Cups, Division 1 and 2 for both the boys and the girls. Those events are held the week after the TSSAA state championships. So the reasoning for a 3-year agreement is a lot of particularly the Tennessee State Soccer Association events, they're governed by a board, and the decision to host the event here in Murfreesboro is oftentimes delayed to the point where they're unable to get some of the nicer hotel rooms that a lot of the soccer families enjoy staying in. The embassy has encouraged them to make those decisions a year in advance at the very least to try to get those high-end hotels. That's just one of those. Also with a governing board where board members are in and out, the Tennessee Soccer Association would like to secure the place for these tournaments for an extended period of time, preventing board members that may be new to the board or fall off the board from moving the event. We lost this event a year ago, and it went to Memphis. And on our level, there's a significant economic impact associated with all three events, and we'd certainly like to host them all and continue to host them. So I'd be glad to take any questions at this time. This is the standard use agreement that we use. It'll be, and there's outs in the agreement as you read through that. If they don't meet the obligations that we set forth, then the agreement would be null and void. It simply gives them the ability to go and secure vendors and hotels for the events in the future.
All right, Thomas. Do you have any questions of Thomas regarding any of these agreements?
Thomas has, like looking at this third agreement, have these folks, the Tennessee Cup, Premier Soccer Service, have they already committed this far out?
Well, they committed to the chamber, and typically that's what they've done. They've signed an agreement with the chamber. However, their agreement with the chamber is contingent on being able to utilize the facility. So this is kind of the missing piece for the chamber, ourselves, and these organizations to form that partnership. Is for us to have a use agreement throughout. Each of the agreements, obviously has things that they must do in order to continue to host.
Within these agreements, I guess I'd almost separate them part 1 and 2. The State Cup, the Division 1 and 2 tournaments are state organizations, right, and then the Tennessee Cup. How does Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation, with the use of Siegel Park, with our commitment to our own citizens, our local citizens, our Murfreesboro Soccer Club, our Recreational League, our own select teams, and then even some of the growing clubs, Nashville FC has a couple of teams based in Murfreesboro now, and we last month kind of talked about their use of Siegel Park. What do we envision as the overall goal for Siegel Park? What's its first priority?
Well, of course, we want to have a world-class facility, and we minimize the number of tournaments and events. I mean, honestly, we could host a tournament every weekend if I accepted all the offers and we entertained every group and organization that tried to come to Siegel Park to play. We try to maintain a certain level of excellence in hosting state cups and hosting the TWSAA championships. The Tennessee Cup is a very big tournament. It's the largest tournament in Rutherford County, and that goes for every sport there is. So it's a major event. That's one weekend out of the year. When we initially did this, the soccer club took off that weekend. So it was always Labor Day weekend, and historically that was a break for the soccer club. They did not play rec games. They did not play select games. It was a time for folks to be with their families, and that's where we found that time slot to fit into what we were trying to accomplish with the soccer. Obviously, we want to provide the best facility possible for our citizens first and foremost, but on top of that, we want to host events. It's a $13.6 million complex. We're not going to pay for it by renting fields at $150 per day. However, the economic impacts that's brought into the community through these tournaments can help the city gain some of that investment back. So I think it's important that we balance between what we offer with our citizens and also what we're able to host in terms of bringing folks into our community that are going to eat in our restaurants, stay in our hotels, and then they're going to leave. We're not providing services for those folks.
One of the things I'm concerned with, Friday the letter went out to MSC that our local teams will not be able to practice on those fields this fall, and that's rec and select. 2 months ago when we were talking about the field usage, I actually said I probably favor that decision for this fall just because of the condition the fields were in. And let me stay right here. Having been out on the fields this weekend with the Tennessee Cup and reffing on them, I was amazed at how good that they had come back. Because 2 weeks ago when I was out there, I was still shaking my head and biting my fingernails. And the crew and the staff did a phenomenal job of taking those fields from where they were in May to where they were Saturday, or Friday, Saturday. But then we played in the rain.
And let me clarify that we had our staff on the ground. The rain started to drizzle. When the big rain hit, our staff went from field to field to field to close those fields down. We canceled Saturday night, we canceled Sunday, and we shut down half the complex on Monday. We had Joel Beckham from the golf course out there every morning to help us evaluate, so we had a professional opinion on what the fields could take. The damage is minimal. We'll talk with Joel this morning. They've rolled out some of the fields. The damage was minimal. We tried to minimize the damage while still trying to satisfy our commitment to the Tennessee Cup and the organization leaders. So I think it was a balancing act, and I've got to commend the staff. They did a phenomenal job of getting the fields ready, of doing additional work. Mayor McFarland actually helped us line some fields Monday morning so we could move them off of some of the more worn areas. Some of the fields didn't progress as much as we had hoped. We've got half the complex that came back, and they look as good as they ever have. The other half, for a variety of reasons, did not come back to what we would hoped. However, we've got a plan in place, a direct plan. We've got an intermediate plan, and we've got a long-term plan to secure the fields and ensure that they're at the best shape that they can be in. There's some long-term things that we can do to help with the drainage, to help them drain better, so when the grass is completely grown back in, we don't get in this situation again. However, we had commitments for the tournament, and I think we balanced it well to minimize the damage, but also meet the objectives to try to get as much of soccer in as we could this weekend. Now, practicing on the fields versus playing games on the fields, obviously we would love to be able to just play fields. 15 turf fields would be ideal. We could practice and play 24/7. With the fields that we have, the Bermuda grass fields, we've got to keep that in mind. And we did ask the soccer community to sacrifice their practices for the fall so that we could have quality fields for their games. We want our select teams as well as our rec teams to experience that world-class level of play that we offer to our tournaments and the folks coming in from out of town. And that's what the directive was in asking them not to practice this season. Now, the city is looking at alternate practice locations and even employing folks to try to develop practice facilities because we want the fields to be peak and top level. So that's kind of where we're at. I know the soccer community is disappointed in the decision to not practice. However, we want to make sure that we don't have this happen over and over again. We knew going in it was going to be a long-term plan to get the fields where they needed to be. This was a culmination of things, including a really, really tough winter. There's nothing to say we won't have the same winter this year, so we've got to put things in place to prevent that.
I don't want to be the only one asking questions.
No, that's a good question.
The one other thing, again, focusing on the Tennessee Cup, because the State Cup, that's the premier state event, and absolutely it should be here from the Tennessee soccer. But with the Tennessee Cup, has there been any discussion of maybe capping the numbers of teams or limiting, or how do you interact with the organizer in order to say, you know, our goal, if this is this tournament, is the economic impact is from the out-of-town teams. Is there a way that we encourage that aspect? Because, you know, I was doing the math of the 197 teams out there this weekend, only 33% of them were outside of Middle Tennessee. So is there a way to encourage more?
Well, of course, there were teams from 12 different states, and while we did have a better participation, you know, with the complex way it was, the numbers were lower this year. We had 208 teams Woody had that initially registered, and that's down about 32 teams from last year. There's 240 teams last year. Obviously, with all of our tournaments, we want to encourage the out-of-town teams. We want to have more and more of that. But I think there was tried to get Ms. Barber from the Chamber to come and talk with you guys, because the economic impact on a hotel perspective, whether those teams were from Franklin, evidently they stayed in Murfreesboro during this 4-day event because the hotel rooms that picked up were, larger. There was a larger hotel pickup than any other event that we host. And I met with the Hotel Association last week just to let them know where we were at, and their concerns were for this event that we would lose this event, based on the facility. So we met at the complex, and they saw how much it had improved, and I think we relieved their mind a lot as to the future of this tournament. So while the teams may be from these areas, I know the Franklin teams stayed in the hotels here. So at the end of the day, they're still in our community, eating in our restaurants, so the economic impact, and I'll be glad to get with the Chamber and get that economic impact from this event in particular to kind of help support.
I guess my concern, with the fields that host, because it's it's the premier facility in Tennessee. It is better than Mike Rose because we have bathrooms. They don't. Let's just throw that one out there. And the field conditions are fantastic. It's laid out great. Decatur, Alabama has a fantastic facility, but it's only 8 fields. Ours is the best in the Southeast, and that's why we hosted regionals in 2011. That's why we hosted the President's Cup.
Right.
But the way that I guess my mentality is the way that we keep hosting that is we keep putting a great product forward, and I don't want to lose out on opportunities to host the Regional Premier League, where teams from Houston and Miami played here. We had, 40 teams last fall, and every single one of those teams was out of town. There wasn't a single mid-state team involved. And so I have concerns about the Tennessee Cup, the way that it seemed to be, let's get as many teams as possible, maybe not considering, hey, what is best for the fields, what is best for the complex, what's best for the state of soccer in Tennessee.
Right. Well, with this organizer, he had fields on retainer from Smyrna and also from MTSU based on his numbers, because we had told him that we're going to have to limit the number of teams that we're going to play at the facility this year because of that. So he's very much aware of where we're at and knowing that he's going to have to find additional fields to increase his number of teams. And the Chamber has worked with him to try to secure fields throughout Rutherford County so that he can add more teams in the future. This year, his numbers fell right around 210 teams. The thing about this tournament versus the girls' state cup, or the girls' TWSAA and then the boys' state cups, is those are held when the grass is dormant. So the grass is brown during those events. This event on a normal year, outside of what we've had to deal with this summer, on a normal year, Labor Day weekend is right at the end of the growing season. So the fields are in the max. They should be in the best condition that they're going to be in all year. And then the month of September allows us another 2 to 3 weeks of grow-in time in case there is some damage. We're able to grow that back in. Some of these other tournaments that we host, that when the grass is brown, we have to limit teams considerably because that grass is not going to regenerate itself. It's not going to grow back in until we get a transition in early May. So that's where we kind of set the parameters of what we can host and what we can't host. This, of course, was a unique year. I have to commend the staff and everybody that was involved in the Tennessee Cup to be able to host that event, to get the play in, to keep the majority of the folks happy and still minimize the damage to the fields. If you go out there now and look at our fields, they look really, really good compared to what they looked like 2 months ago.
Good questions. Are there any others? If there are no more questions or discussion, we need a motion for approval of these 3 agreements.
Now, is this to approve all 3 at the same time?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And the one will start with the State Cup in November. That'll be the boys Division I, Division II State Cup. And then the others will start in 2015 in May for the Girls State Cup, or in June for the Girls State Cup, and then, of course, next year's Tennessee Cup, which we just hosted.
Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Is there any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thomas, thanks for your work. I appreciate the update. Becky, last but certainly not least, it's time for your update.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Starting with this Saturday, September 6th, we have 2 events going on. The first one is Murfreesboro Wheels and Wings Day, and that will be out at the Murfreesboro Airport. And we have several different city departments that will be bringing the vehicles they use in maintaining the city of Murfreesboro for kids to come and enjoy and view, and also some airplanes as well. And that is from 3 to 6:30. And then at 7 o'clock, we're going to show the movie Wings out at the tarmac. So it's a whole afternoon and evening of fun at Murfreesboro Wheels and Wings Day this Saturday at the airport. Also on Saturday, from 3 to 5 at the Wilderness Station is the Hummingbird Festival. This is a great event. We've had this several times before, and it's just to celebrate hummingbirds and learn a bit about this unique bird. They'll have guest speakers, children's activities, hummingbird merchandise, and that's from 3 to 5 and is free at the Wilderness Station. And back by popular demand is our Puppy Plunge, which will be Saturday, September 13th at the Borough Beach. This past Labor Day was the last day that we used the outdoor pool for humans, so to speak. So on Saturday, September 13th, will be the Puppy Plunge, and that's from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It is $1 per dog to participate, and we ask that the dogs be up to date on their shots and that the owners don't go in the water with the dogs. But it's a great event, and it's really fun to see these puppies run around and have a great time in the pool. Then on Saturday, September 20th, we have our Greenway Art Festival, and that is from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Old Fort Park. There will be lots and lots of artists there displaying their works. It's free to attend. If anybody chooses to make purchases, the vendors set the prices for that, and it is a juried art festival, so it's a pretty good event each year from 10 to 4. That's Saturday, September 20th at Old Fort Park. And then the following Saturday, September 27th, we have the Patterson Park's Fall Arts and Crafts Show. This is more of your typical crafters fair, and there'll be things such as hand-knit and hand-sewn apparel, soaps, candles, wood crafts, fall and holiday decorations, painted signs. And it is free to attend for that. And once again, just if you choose to make any purchases. And that is from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Patterson Park Community Center. It will be outside, weather permitting. And it is Saturday, September 27th. Those are the highlights of our September events. October's a full month, too. We'll be back next month to talk about them. But our Fall Rec Connection is available now. We have it in all of our centers and facilities. You may also go online at murfreesborotn.gov/parks to download the Fall Rec Connection. You can follow us on Facebook. We have our Parks and Rec page, Athletics, Cannonsburg, Greenway, Outdoor, Sportscom, Patterson, and I'm sure I've missed one or two.
Or you can call the main office at 890-5333 for more information on all of our programs. Thank you.
All right, Becky, thanks for the update.
And we have one more significant event, Parks and Rec, right?
Yes, we do. Jack and the Beanstalk.
You heard me. And got to give my kids some publicity.
Yes, I'm very glad that you brought that up. That is, if I have the dates correct, but Pam can yell at me from behind, Friday, September 19th, Saturday, September 20th, and Sunday, September 21st. And it's a Jack and the Beanstalk. It has some Shirleys and a Johnson participating in that as well. That'll be a great play. It's the Sunshine Players. It's the youth theater, and it's always fun to come and watch them. So come on out to the theater at Patterson Park for Jack and the Beanstalk.
All right. Thanks,
Anything
Becky.
else I forgot? Thank you.
All right. That concludes everything under new business. Is there any other business to come before the commission? If there is none, we stand adjourned. Thank you for your time.